camera, world, and selection. The three features were at peace until the fourth feature attacked. But what is that fourth feature? Welcome back to Cup of Tea. Every feature I try to implement turns out to be a challenge. How am I supposed to manage loads of units all over the map, all with different stats and abilities? I decided to work on the visualization first to simplify the problem. Here's the plan. This is a tile, and here's the information we store about it. If entity is set to what's supposed to be on that tile, we can check the storage for any matching entity and copy it onto the map, then place it at the position of the tile. Obviously, nothing works on the first try. Why can't I select tiles anymore? What do you mean not enabled? Where's the map gone? I can't get the position? After way too much troubleshooting, I finally got a cube on the first tile on the map. I put it there by placing it on the first index in the list of tiles, which gives me an idea. Here's how the tiles currently are in the data. Each tile is indexed in the order it's created, but what if instead it were indexed by its position on the map? With the current index, to find the tile at a position, we need to loop through every tile and check its position in the data. But if that position were used as the index, we can reference it directly. A much simpler approach, or so I thought. It turns out that vector2s are not their own data type, unlike vector3, and nothing is written about this in the documentation. This is what a vector2 index looks like, and here's the same index after sending it to the player. 2 points, which should be the same, are not. As a workaround, I wrote two functions, one which converts from vector2 to strings, which are completely fine, and another which converts strings to vector2 to do vector maths easily. Now I can place them anywhere on the map, but that was exhausting, so it's break time. Oh, and I should probably explain what's going on here. Units have a bunch of stats which are set when the game is loading. We put all of the types in a list, and when they need to be spawned in, the data is sent to the tile, where we already took care of the visualization. I'm probably going to do something like this for the tiles as well, since there's still more data to be added. Anyway, here's a cool HUD, a text box in a transparent box, and it tells you the current selection. It gets the current selection from the command handler and puts its name in the text box. I made it so if you select a tile, it first checks for an entity, which gets priority selection. If you try again, it selects the tile itself, and finally deselects the third time. Units also get a special selection box block above their tile. Back to the units. It's time to make them move. Now that the vector situation is sorted, we can get the tiles around the point by looping in a loop again. An offset vector goes from the negative move distance to the positive, both horizontally and vertically. Then we add the offset to the tile it originates from. Now we can get those surrounding tiles from the data and highlight the graphic. This will be where the unit can move to. The unit needs to be moved both in the data and the visual. The visual would be moved to the right place with a map update, but this is better. All the highlighted tiles are put in a list, and if the tile I clicked on was highlighted, the unit will move there and it is deselected. That's looking pretty clean. I noticed afterwards that it throws an error if it's on the edge, since there's no tile there to highlight. It's an easy fix by checking if it exists first and then highlighting it if it does. I also made it not highlight tiles with other units on them. So what do you think? I think it's time to make them look cool. Starting with a basic cube, I made 3 basic units. The Industrial Faction's mass-produced beast, the tank. The Eldritch Abomination, known for being scary for other people. Here is Australian Native. And finally, Magic Man with Sword. At this point I was chilling. I got kinda sick, you see, so I didn't exactly work on the video. Yeah. So let's finish this off properly. We need some proper combat in this game, so I looked up how other turn-based games handle their damage calculation. I spent a bit too much time looking at these damage models and tried to inspire a system from them. Damage is calculated from attack, defense, and health, with both attacker and defender taking damage. There's even a tiny bit of luck involved to push it in one way or the other. When a unit is selected, nearby tiles are found and highlighted. It's important that there's no unit on the destination, so those tiles are excluded. For attacking, we do the opposite. Both the currently selected unit and the destination are in the command handler, which talks to the player script that sends data to the server. However, you can only directly communicate to a module script, so in this case, I rerouted it through a bindable event. Some of you might be thinking, why not just have the module script talk to the server? Well, a detour can make things look a little bit nicer. Of course, I need to implement this system as well, but it could be important in the future, so that doesn't matter. As you can see, it's working perfectly, because I did not just skip a whole bunch of troubleshooting. Everything is working well, but there is one problem. None of these units are being affected by the terrain. So, I devised a very simple algorithm to decide where the units can move to based on the terrain around them. Each terrain tile has a different roughness value. Between them create a path which is the average roughness. So starting on a point on the map with a maximum number of roughness traveled, just keep going through the algorithm until you run out of roughness. But what I didn't know was that the problem that I would face, one that was extremely frustrating, had nothing to do with the algorithm at all. Take a look at this. Why are those tiles not highlighted? This is what I found when I increased the move range more than 1. These tiles are just not highlighting. And I tried so many things. I found out that the Roblox highlight instance can only have a maximum of 31 on screen at a time. To work around this, you can place multiple models inside a model with a highlight in it. So everything that is a descendant gets highlighted. But then other things were happening and there was seemingly no explanation. I tried cloning the highlight multiple times, tweaking all the properties every time it's cloned, and having problems with it just not updating. Eventually I managed to fix the issue by putting the highlight outside of the group and just setting the adornee to the group. So after all that, finally a demonstration of the terrain roughness algorithm. I also added a multiplier to make it so different units can be affected by the terrain differently. So for example, a heavy tank would have a hard time getting over mountains, but a plane wouldn't care. I also changed the combat to be something a lot simpler, not inspired by the other turn-based games, but something that I made up. Units just have attack, armor, and health. Armor is subtracted from incoming attack to reduce the damage. So if you have a certain amount of armor, you just won't take any damage. There's also armor penetration, which makes attacks ignore a certain amount of armor. You guys left a lot of nice comments on the last video. I know it took a long time to get this one out, and I'll try to get them out a little bit faster next time. But I will keep uploading, I'm not just going to stop. And I want to make sure that the game is in a playable state before deciding whether I want to continue or not. So don't worry, it will release. If you want to like and subscribe and comment, it does make me happy, but you don't have to do any of that. If you haven't watched the first episode, check out the channel, and also check out the Discord in the description you can join. That's all for now. Have a pretty cool day.